Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another one. Oh, I just got an update. That's what's up. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody is well. What is going on? Yes, indeed. Yeah, I was thinking about this. I keep going over this the RICO statue and stuff like that. And what inspired me to talk about this was Sammy the Bull. Sammy the Bull said he doesn't think that the RICO applies to this case. He said this, and I was like looking at it, I said he might be right about this. And he knows more about the RICO than anybody else. And I'm looking at the crimes. I'm like, why couldn't they just go after, the quote unquote sex crimes and leave the RICO out of it? Well, he said that they got greedy with it, and they're going for everything. So that's why I say maybe he don't really deserve this RICO, and just go after the other stuff. Now, my question is, would he even be found guilty on a criminal enterprise? Some people say yes, because I went over that earlier, and I went over why. Because they only need to find 2 predicate acts. And being that you only need 2 predicate acts, that's all you need for that. Let me go back to my notes. You said sex crimes isn't a federal offense. That's what people are having a problem with, B. But here's the issue with that. It's the Mann Act. The Mann Act is the issue. It's not the sex crimes. It's the Mann Act. Being that the Mann Act, that could be a predicate act under the racketeering. And it doesn't just list prostitution, it says sex acts. Hey Ma, how you doing? Hey B2B. What's up, Craig? He said sex crimes is a federal offense. Yeah, it can be, but yes, it is. But being that they trying to label him as a criminal enterprise, that's why it's I'm not saying it's easy to find him guilty of this, but it's almost like that, because if you look at what he's being accused of and some of the things they're bringing out in court, it's almost like, okay, that's the predicate act right there. You said without the man at sex crimes have federal statutes. Without the Mann Act, sex crime. You said you're trying to say without the man at sex crimes have federal statutes. You mean the Mann Act? I'm thinking it's, hey Amber, how you doing? But this is a technical thing here, and I'm kind of learning from this, because I didn't really fully understand how the government do this really when it comes to the Mann Act. But I researched the Mann Act, but it's on full display right now. I'm going to tell you guys this. It's going to come down to the jury. All he needs to do at this point is beat that first charge. If he can beat that first charge, he is in the ball game. If he can beat the first charge, which is that racketeering. You said let me see, the criminal enterprise part of it. I'm not a lawyer. I spent a lot of time in federal prison. Hold on, and did a lot of research. That is a MoneyGram. They are charging with the RICO to take the empire down, Craig, to take the money. That's what Sammy the Bull was saying. If they get him with the RICO and they take him down on it, they going for all his money. And I don't particularly agree with that, man. Now that I'm looking at it. He's being, I can't say he's being, I don't have no proof of it. I'm going to say this again, guys. He pissed somebody off, and I believe they're coming after him. But watch this. I hope Celebrity Scandalous come on, because I want her to break this herself. I don't want to use her ideas. She mentioned something, and I said, "Oh shit, Diddy might be okay." But I have to let her say it. But I'm studying the RICO, right, Craig? Because this is the first time that I really we're actually putting it into we're applying the knowledge. Hold on, let me say this again. Let me read it again. Hold on. Let me read what Craig's saying. He said, hold on. My bad, y'all. He said, no, I'm saying that without the Mann Act, it's still a federal charge for like the manic basically and crosses state lines. Then they have federal charges for child. No, I know they have I know this is still, but that's what Sammy the Bull was saying. Instead of charging him with the racketeering, just charge him with that and not make it a criminal enterprise. But but if they make it a criminal enterprise and he's found guilty, they take all his money. You don't have to charge him with a criminal enterprise to charge him with that in federal court, because they're saying that he crossed state lines for the purposes of you know, what he was doing. Right, they want to take his money, right? And I'm saying, do he really? Is this really called for? That's my question. Because even Sammy the Bull said it. He said they didn't have to charge him with the Mann Act. Racketeering. They could have just went after these crimes itself and charged him. Just charge him with that without he said they could have charged him right on a federal level, but keep the racketeering out of it. And that'd have been fine. He probably would have had to settle at that point. But he probably knows himself. I didn't run no criminal organization. That's probably what he's thinking. I didn't run no criminal organization. But the problem here, this is the problem. You have to prove 2 predicate acts. Okay? If the jury is agreeing on 2 predicate acts, they now have him with racketeering. That's the problem he's facing. Right, it's a criminal enterprise because it's under ban. Right, I understand that. Right, you said he hired his well, that's what they're saying. That's what makes this case so different than as far as the mob cases back in the day. Because they're saying that, because like Sammy the Bull said, even though I have legit money, but we'll say if I use that money to do crime, then that's a problem. That's the racketeering. He said, man, I wish I could speak to you. This is definitely something behind this. He might have gotten convicted easier. Right. He would have got convicted easier if they didn't have to do the criminal enterprise. That's what I'm saying, Craig. That's exactly what I'm saying to you. And I listened to Sammy Bull again. He's right about this. He said, would you feel different if the bodyguards end up testifying? Even if the bodyguards end up testifying, they would have got him easily if they just charged him with these acts without the RICO. He probably wouldn't have went to trial, Amber. He's caught dead to rights because Cassie testified to this already. I think, Amber, the bodyguards might testify. We got to stay tuned. Right, Craig. The criminal enterprise is to take the paper. Amber, they want to break them. And I don't particularly agree with this. I don't. Yeah, I honestly believe, and I'm going back to, oh man, I'm going to have to let you hear this. I'm going back to what he said that had him marked, yo. He's marked. Hold on. Let me find the video so y'all can hear it. I got to let you hear it and not see it because I don't want to get copywritten. Even I'm in danger of that if I just with that alone, but I gotta let you hear this, then you'll see. Because they're not just, I honestly believe they're going after everybody. It's not just Diddy. This a takedown. They're going after, they started with when I'm gonna tell you it, when I saw that what they did with Cosby, I said everybody is now on the clock. Let me find that video if I could find it. It says P. Diddy gives the Grammys a 365-day notice to treat black artists. Hold on, let me see. This is it.
All right, man. Talk a little bit.
Oh, he's just doing a reaction on it. And this was 5 years ago. That's when I did my reaction. Oh, I got to find the video. Here it is. Let me see.
But there's something I need to say to the Grammys.
Listen.
And I changed my name my middle name to Love, so it's Sean Love Combs now.
Listen to this, guys. This is what got him marked. Listen.
You have to call me a different name. It's an added-on name if you want to call me Love. So I say this with love to the Grammys, because you really need to know this. Every year, y'all be killing us, man. Man, I'm talking about the pain. I'm speaking for all the artists here, the producers, the executives, the amount of time that it takes to make these records, to pour your heart out into it, and you just want an even playing field. In the great words of Erykah Badu, we are artists, we are sensitive about our shit. We are passionate. For most of us, this is all we got. This is our only hope. Truth be told, hip-hop has never been respected by the Grammys. Black music has never been respected by the Grammys to the point that it should be. So right now, this current situation is not a revelation. This thing been going on. And it's not just going on in music, it's going on in film, it's going on in sports, it's going on around the world. And for years, we've allowed institutions that have never had our best interests at heart to judge us. And that stops right now.
That marked him. Did you hear what he said? He said that stops right now. He said there's been other institutions that's been taking advantage of black music. Y'all heard what he said. That's what marked him. I believe so. That marked him. And I made a video on it back then. I said, this man is now on the clock. I said it back then. You said also, where is the drug dealer they arrested Max? I don't know if he's going to testify. He hasn't yet. And look, Amber said he was one of them. But you hear what he said, though, right? On why that could have pissed the powers that be off. And you say, of course, MJ and Prince, Ben called it out. But guess what? Guess what happened to them? Because Prince's situation, they said it's accidental. I get it. It's accidental overdose. But I don't know. Did somebody give him a cocktail, man? You said just wait until they introduce the underage minors. Diddy, that's not in his RICO. That's not in this case. Truth said, I don't think they could get him on the Kid Cudi card also because they don't have the person who actually did it. Okay. So he could be in good shape there then. I'm in agreement with Sammy the Bull. This shouldn't have been a RICO case. It shouldn't have been. They going after his money. This shouldn't have been a RICO case, bro. I don't feel good. I don't even feel good about this situation no more. I don't. I'm being honest with you. I don't even feel, something don't feel right. And I'm literally being honest with you. Something don't feel right, bro. It don't feel right. I could see if they went on the crimes that he did, then fine. He probably wouldn't have went to jail. He probably wouldn't have went to court. He probably wouldn't have went to court. He probably would have settled out. I don't feel good about this. I don't. I feel like that what I just told you, that I mean I've just let you hear, I feel like that did it. And I feel like they can do whatever they want to do with us, and I don't feel right about this. I don't. Do you realize I have a problem vlogging on this case? I might stop vlogging on it. That's how much of a problem I have with it. It's not setting right with me. And I might just be done with it. I might don't want to do this no more. Because I feel I've been studying the law for a very long time. I feel like they should have got him on the stuff he did. Okay, fine. If you got him on the Mann Act, I mean, you got him on the, what you call it, sex trafficking, I get it. And the arson, I get it. Or whatever you're trying to get him on. I don't think they should have put the RICO on him. And he's sitting there by himself. I don't feel right about it because he's sitting there by himself. And I don't feel right because the reason why I went back to what he said at the Grammys, he said, you have 365 days or else. And I saw how those white dudes were looking at him. I don't feel right about this now. I don't. I'm being honest with you, man. I don't want to cover this no more. I don't feel right about it. That's why when I go there, I don't feel good. I'm getting headaches. Something don't feel right in that courtroom. It don't feel right, man. And it don't feel right. And when he stood up, that fucked with me, yo. That fucked with me. Because I feel like they doing this shit on purpose. And I feel like Cassie didn't want to be there. That's what I feel like. I feel like she didn't want to testify, man. They made her. That's what I feel like. Man, I just this case I never felt like this before in a case. Never felt this way. They can do whatever they want to do with us, man. And that's for anybody. This is transcending color, transcending. Because I feel like she didn't want to be there. I felt like I went back to what Chopper said. He said he saw her in Vegas. And she was like, I didn't want this to happen, right? Like I tried to do what I had to do, right? I felt like she didn't want to be there. And then she said she don't hate him, man. After all this stuff, she said she don't hate him. She missed whatever she said, she missed the pass or something, or I can't remember what she said, but she didn't have no disdain for him, man. Anything for, I don't know, man. I don't want to cover this shit no more, yo. It's not worth it. It's not worth it because they suppressing my views anyway, and the people that talk negative about them, they get all the views. I'm not for this no more, man. I'm not for this no more, man. That's why I'm getting sick over it. I'm not for it, man. I'm not for it. Craig, yeah, right. But no, Craig, what I'm saying is, okay, this is what I'm saying. When it clicked on me when Sammy the Bull said it, he said they're being greedy. He said they ain't have to charge you with no RICO. He said, I've been through the RICO. He said, I've been through that. He said, no. This ain't the RICO. Just charge him for what he did. And then go from there. Because if they did that, I promise you he wouldn't be in court right now. He probably would have took the deal. Yo, this ain't sitting right with me, man. It wasn't sitting right with me when he stood up. I'm being real with y'all. That didn't sit right with me because I'm like, damn, this dude is glowing, yo. It looked like he was glowing. It looked like he didn't do it. It looked like he was being set up. That's where I feel, yo. I feel like he got set up. And I'm being honest with you. That's why I gotta be honest with you because I keep deleting my lives, if you notice. Because I don't feel right after the fact. That's how I know I can't do this no more. I can't do it, man. And it goes back to what he said at the Grammys. And guys, I made a video 5 years ago saying that he was getting ready to go down because of what he said. And now it's happening. And I feel like Michael Jackson didn't die the way they say he died because Conrad Murray is out chilling right now. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they got people watching all of them. That's what I feel like, man. And I'm sorry I feel that way, but that's how I feel, man. I don't feel right about this. Oh, man. I might not even go back. Yo. I don't feel right about it. Don't feel right. I had to eventually tell y'all because this is how I've been feeling. I was like, yo, this ain't. If they had got him on the other stuff, then I'd have been happy to talk about it. Okay, well, he did this. Was he doing the most? Yes, he was. But is he guilty of what he did to her? Yes, he is. He is. He is. He most certainly is. Um, he most certainly is. Now, when they reveal what they were saying in those photos, like I'm rich forever and all that right there. Who am I gonna date now? If I don't date him, I'm gonna date JayZ. I don't feel right about this show. She didn't want to go to trial. That's how I feel. Cassie didn't want to go to trial. She just did what she had to do. She didn't want to do this. She just wanted her money, and I understand why she wanted her money. I do. I get that. She wants some money for the time they spent. I get it. Boy, he got himself in some shit, man. He did. He got himself in some bullshit. He sure did. He got himself in a world of shit here. Yeah, and then when she said that she just wanted his time, she started breaking down on the stand. When she was reminiscing over that. She was breaking down on the stand. She still got feelings, man. She don't hate him. She may not have the same feelings, but she don't hate him. Well, here's the thing, Abbott. Let me highlight that. Celebrity, I'm gonna have to, if you want to come up, I'm gonna have you break the news to him on why he might get off. I can't do it because that's your idea. I can't do it. But if you want to come on for a second and tell the people on why he's gonna be okay, then why he might be okay. You say you think it's unfair that she was his co-conspirator and didn't have to do any jail time. Right, that's what Tammy the Bull said. He said she should be sitting up there with him, but not with a RICO case, though. Not with a RICO case. But they needed her testimony to bring him down. Yeah, man, I don't feel right about it, bro. I'm gonna still go, but my comment, I'm not. I'm just going to be going. To be honest with you, he said them freak off tapes are blackmail material. Do you think there's tapes out there, Marco? Do you think they exist? He probably do have them. I remember what Gene said. He said when they went in there, they got the tapes that he had on everybody and bounced. He ain't got them no more. If he's smart, he made a copy. If he's smart. If he's smart, he made a copy. You said Cassie's husband has to accept the fact that his wife will always be. I mean, that's like with everybody. Everybody got their first love. You said those threats and blackmail are part of the yeah, okay. I want Celebrity to tell you guys what she was thinking, and hopefully she'll chop this up and then use it on her channel. But it's her idea. You said I was a mock juror on 26 mock juries when I got plus in law. They were all down with the get down to be around 100 bit. Okay, truth. Okay, I'm with you on that. That's why it don't seem right to me no more. I have to change up, yo. I'm just letting people know I'm not against them. I'm not against them, yo. But I don't know them, but I'm not against them. And I'm not using my platform to bring him down, yo. I'm sorry. Nope. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. I'm just letting it be known now. I'm not doing it. Because I wasn't doing it anyway, but I'm just not trying to break nothing down. Like I'm just there. I'm gonna let you guys. I'm gonna still report on what I see every day. But yeah, man, they should have something else. Celebrity, you there?
Hey.
Oh, let me bring it so they can see you. Where is? Oh, we hear you though.
Okay, that's cool. They don't need to see me because today I'm looking a mess. But anyway, you guys, hey, Max.
We see
hey,
your
chat.
picture though. We see your picture.
Okay. So
okay, you have the floor. Let them know like why you think he could possibly get a pardon.
Okay, so I did a video about 3 or 4 months ago because that information had come out. So it's not like anything really new. And at that time, people were calling me a liar, saying it wasn't true. So I was kind of doing a deep dive, into what was going on. Now, the reason I feel like if Trump does consider a pardon, I think he will consider a pardon, mainly because the trial lead on this case is her name Maureen Comey? Sometimes I get the names mixed up, but it's Comey's daughter. You guys know Comey back in 2017 was fired by Trump. Trump sent a letter. I mean, it was very professional, very polite, but basically said that he didn't think he was fit to be head of the FBI. So with all of the history, the reason I say this is because people were honing in on the fact that Diddy had talked about Trump previously, when Trump was running for president and the couple of times that he ran. But the problem is that Diddy talked about him. He did say some bad things, but Diddy and Trump go way back. You guys got to remember, Trump has always had a very close connection with rap music. Trump is this is some trivia. He's one of the most talked about wealthy men in rap music. There's so many references about Trump this, Trump Towers, because he was like iconic for rap in like the 1990s. So Trump was very close. He had a relationship with Diddy, JayZ, all of those rap guys. And that was before he became president, right? He was very close to all of them through the industry, music and TV and all of that stuff. So Diddy and him had that split, and him and Diddy were very tight. Diddy wanted to be like Trump. He wanted to be rich. Diddy felt like he was somewhat like a mentor. He used to go and talk about how, cool Trump was, all that stuff. And Trump used to say, I like this guy, whatever. So yes, he did fall out when Diddy was trying to say vote or die, all of that stuff. And he made some disparaging remarks about him. He did. But that is nothing like what Comey did. Comey, when that whole thing came out about, there's two things with the indictment and also his impeachment. Comey had emails against Trump. Comey had stuff that he gave to Hillary Clinton about Trump. He was very instrumental in saying that Trump was just horrible, that he should be impeached. I mean, that is way worse. I mean, in my opinion, that axe to grind is way bigger than Diddy saying some negative things about him. Comey, as the FBI director, had stuff that could put Trump in a bad way. He had evidence. He's part of the reason to some degree. He's not the sole cause of it, but this Trump's indictment. So I feel like Trump has a bigger axe to grind with Comey by making his daughter look like a fool and bringing a pardon to Diddy. And if you guys don't know, in the last couple of weeks, Comey posted some kind of he posted something about some seashells and there were some numbers in it. And basically what they're saying is when it was deciphered, y'all could go look it up because I just be skimming stuff. But they, basically Trump said, and Comey did take it down, that it was a threat, that he was threatening to assassinate him. This has only been within the last couple of weeks. So if y'all don't think that Trump is saying, Comey, you threatened to unalive me, and then your daughter is the lead person on the Diddy trial, and I could possibly give him a pardon, come on now. Did Diddy talk a little greasy about him? Yeah, but he could forget that. Comey has done way worse things to his political career than Diddy could ever do. So y'all, that's my 5-minute my 5-minute presentation.
Yeah, so yeah, he's the most talked about person in hip hop. There's no other person that's more talked about than Trump. I mean mentioned, excuse me, not talked about, but mentioned. He's the most mentioned person in hip hop music. That is true.
Yeah.
He was also instrumental in Mike Tyson's career. He pardoned Jack Johnson when no other president would. I would thought Obama would have pardoned him, but Trump did. I knew he was going to pardon him because he's a big boxing guy. So that wasn't out of the ordinary that he was gonna pardon him. He was gonna pardon him anyway, just because he's really a big boxing historian. But I think Trump knows when he's thinking about the Mann Act, he knows that was created for Jack Johnson, and this Mann Act is being applied here. He more than likely will pardon him. More than likely, he'll get a pardon after the conviction. So any way you look at it, Diddy's gonna come on for sure. I think so now.
Yeah, I think he will be leaning towards a pardon. And previously, what they were talking about is that $50 million that he was going to try to use for his bail, like he can, like donate some money to Trump's political funds or whatever. And
Hold on 1 second, celebrity.
uh-huh.
See, this is why people don't listen to me. I've already talked about this. I've already named her. Said Trump has a pardon department, Max. Look out for that. Yeah, I've already explained it in my last video, but I took it down and I named who the lady was that was ahead of it. It was a lady that he pardoned. I've already talked about it. That's what's frustrates me sometimes. I did a whole video yesterday, like a whole presentation on who his pardons is, and now somebody telling me to go look at it. It's actually frustrating.
Yeah.
And now I hear people saying they're the 13th juror. That shit is frustrating. It's actually frustrating to me. So I'm not sure. I told them before you got on, celebrity, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep going now. I don't want to talk about this no more because nobody listens anyway. I don't want to talk about this no more. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't want him to go to jail, man. Not for this. I feel like he got set up. That's just how I feel, yo. Because I just played the video. Nobody really commented on it. I played the video of him saying, "You pay us what you owe us." That I don't know if people realize that's what got him to be a marked man. And I said how these white people in the audience was looking at him. He was a marked man at this point. So I don't really want to talk about this no more. To be honest with you, I want to move on. I don't want to talk about it no more.
I mean,
Because
I understand
the
how
thing
you feel.
is, the people that lie the most, they get the most views.
That's
on
true.
This. And I'm kind of done.
Yeah, and they're manipulating the facts too, though, to be honest. Like, I think Diddy did a lot of things, but is it rising to the
he
level
is guilty. He is
of,
guilty on a lot of stuff,
something?
of course.
He's guilty of something, but it's seeming like this. There are people people have unalived people and get less time or, as less harsh sentence as what people want Diddy to get. So it's kind of surprising to me.
I do believe, obviously, if you're gonna charge him with the sex trafficking on how the statutes are with the Mann Act, yeah, more than likely he's guilty of that. What he did to Cassie is unexplainable, and he's guilty for that as well.
Right.
He is. That's some karma that he has to deal with. But then let me tell you the math on it. So once he officially all this stuff came out, then all of a sudden all these people came out of the blue and had all this stuff typed up ASAP. I don't think that's by accident. I think it's a 360-degree takedown on him. And yep, this is a 360-degree takedown on it. And yeah, that's what I see.
Can I ask you a question? Let me, how you feel about this? And I know some women are probably going to be mad at me because this is not a, traditional how, but this whole trafficking and man act, I'm not, unfortunately, I'm seeing consenting. If there's a victim here in that regard, it's Cassie. But how many men pay for women to fly out and then situations happen? Like, I feel like they're
well,
taking
that's not necessarily the man act. Okay, let me explain it. So a lot of people are confused by it. I pay people to come out and we have sex. That's not the man act. Because you pay somebody to come out and y'all also spending time together, then y'all happen to having sex. That's not the man act. What basically he's paying strippers for only the purposes of the freak off. That's the man act.
But what's wrong? But that's my point. That's what I'm trying to get to. I feel like as consenting adults, people are always transactional when it comes to relations like that.
Right. It says it in the statute, even if you're consenting adults, even if you're consenting, if it's prostitution or sex acts, that's the man act.
Okay. Now, what's the trafficking? So is trafficking and the man act two separate actions?
It's two separate things.
So what's the trafficking versus the man act? Because I guess that's what I'm getting confused.
Pimping, baby. Where you from again? Where you pimping?
Huh?
Pimping.
No.
That's sex trafficking, pimping.
But who is he pimping?
He's not pimping. He's not a pimp. Right. Okay. So that's the difference.
So you can't get. So then that's why I have a problem with them getting him on the trafficking.
They're not getting him on that. They're getting him on the man act.
Well, why they keep saying trafficking though?
Because if that sticks, it sticks. But the man act is gonna stick.
Okay.
Because it's different. Pimping. You see what I'm saying? Oakland, pimping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What's that name of that street? Fillmore Street.
That's San Francisco.
Okay, pimping.
Yeah. San Pablo.
That's sex trafficking.
Yeah.
But the man act is when you pay somebody specifically to cross state lines for either prostitution. The pimps can get the man act too, either prostitution or they said sex acts. It could be sex acts. Okay, that's the man act. That's why I have a problem with it, because like Sammy the Bull said, they didn't have to charge him with racketeering. They could have just charged him with that and charged him with the other stuff, and then he'd been done with it. He wouldn't have faced that much time. He wouldn't have faced a lot of time, but he would have faced something. But if you're going to charge him with something, charge him with that. Only that.
So are we saying that he's being overcharged?
Yeah, he's being overcharged. I feel like he's being overcharged. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
He's being overcharged. And the reason why, just like somebody said, is to get his money and to take him down, and his kids ain't got no money. They going for the gusto here. So they overcharge him, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And Silicon Valley Man said, Max, you getting paid by Combs Fund? How much are they paying? No, I'm not getting paid. I've been doing this for a very long time. I study the law. That's the difference between me and other people. I just said it on the other video. I just went down the whole law. I study it. Okay? I feel like he's getting overcharged. Yes. This is overkill. Yeah, we know he's guilty of what they saying, like as far as what he kicked her in the elevator and all that stuff in the hallway. We know that. Yes. Okay. But now I'm looking at the man act. It's so easy to get him on racketeering. It's easy. Okay, do you believe he did the man act? Yes. Do you believe he did? Yes. If I was sitting on that jury, I would do jury nullification at this point. I would just find him not guilty just on GP. He's not guilty. because I'm not going to be a part of it. I'll hang that jury. I'll hang the jury because he's not going to be taken down on my clock. Okay. Now, is he a bad person? You be the judge of that. Like, I'm not his God. But what he did, I don't agree with. I do not agree with it. But I've been studying this Mann Act. They're going to get him on this. Because if you think about it, all they need is 2 predicate acts within a 10-year period. They overcharged them. I feel like they overcharged them, man. And I feel like then all these silly ass lawsuits came out. I feel a lot of them are not going to stick. They silly. And then
they're not.
They did the same thing with R. Kelly. A documentary came out to taint the audience, to taint the jury. This a takedown, man. And I'm not, like I said, I don't really care. People mad with what I say. You could be mad with what I say. It don't matter. It does not matter at this point because I'm going through some real life shit right now. This trial is secondary to what I'm going through right now. This is secondary. This ain't nothing. I'm going through real life shit that'll bring you to your knees.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is just extracurricular. So if you get mad, you get mad. I feel like he got overcharged. And I didn't feel right about it from the beginning. I didn't feel right when he stood up. That did something to me. I said, this man, I felt like, damn, they got his ass, yo. They got him. And he know they got him. And I felt like he didn't have nobody in his corner to calm him down. And that's the problem. Who's trying to come up just for, is it Joel almost? I think that's just for the clicks. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Damn, I'm using Eric Adams. My bad, Eric. It is just for the clicks. Are you there?
Oh yeah, it's just the facts. Yes, sir. I'm here. How you doing?
Okay. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Hello to your guests. Hello to your audience.
Hey, hi.
Yeah, what you got to build on?
Man, have you seen the website, the Diddy docket?
Yes, sir. Yep.
You know, there's like I think there's over let me see, like close to like 372 like documents on there. Have you had a chance to like go through any of them?
I went through a few.
Oh, okay. So I was looking at, a few of them, and there's a lot of things that I thought were quite interesting. Like for instance, I mean, I can share my screen later on if you want me to, but for instance, there was a situation where Diddy, his lawyers wrote to the judge claiming that he feels like he's being singled out as a black prominent man, and the government is just trying to tear him down.
Wait, was this recently?
This was. Let me see what date it says on this.
No, that wasn't recent.
This is there's no date on this one, but the way all the documents been filed, I think is. Oh yeah, here we go. It's 51925. Yep, 519.
5/9?
Yeah, 5925.
Yeah, they've been said that. They singled it out, saying that this is racially motivated. Yes.
So yeah, and it's crazy. But the interesting thing is like the judge actually wrote to him explaining like, hey man, like the way you're presenting this information is like not the correct way. If you want to like present the information, you gotta present the information like this way.
Well, let me ask you this then. I'm gonna bring you back a little later because me and a celebrity is building right now.
Okay.
But let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Why do you think they single him out?
Okay, so according to what the government was saying, they singled him out just because they were getting a lot of tips from different people who were making a lot of accusations, and then when they looked into it, they found that there's a lot of issues. So usually, they also said that. So Diddy that was Diddy's defense. Diddy like gave up names, which is crazy. They posted. If you read the judge, he said he gave up names and he gave up examples of people who are doing the exact same thing.
Yes, I remember that. Yes, he did give up. They mentioned the guy from Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yeah. Well, that guy. I mean, his defense was that he had Alzheimer's, and then
Yeah, but he don't. I don't think he do. Maybe he do. I don't know.
The crazy part about, I mean, that's another case, but the crazy part about that, they just ruled 2 days ago that Abercrombie and Fitch is going to be responsible for paying his legal fees because,
right.
Yeah. But anyway, so back to that. So they were saying that because they got a bunch of tips from the civil.
A bunch of tips. Okay.
Yeah, and a bunch of people calling. I think that they're saying they had about, if I recall correctly, they have 135 cases that were filed.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why they decided to look into it.
Hey, but I'm gonna bring you back a little later.
No problem, man.
I appreciate you coming on. You come on anytime, though.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, bro. So I got his explanation of it. He said that they got a lot of tips that was coming in. Could it be that they had a file on them already? Because people keep, why? People keep like Sammy, watch out, JayZ. JayZ, watch out. JayZ might want to watch out because people keep saying it.
I think so too. Because you got to remember, after the R. Kelly case, they did start saying, that there was going to be another artist that was going to be facing similar charges. However, they were naming JayZ, not Diddy. He wasn't on the radar, not for me anyway.
But again, I want to just give you this disclaimer. I'm not taking up for what he did for Cassie because you can't explain none of that. He has a temper. He has an anger issue problem. He shouldn't have put his hands on her. I mean, damn, is he just facing karma for that? He could be just going through some karma. Like, because when I tell you they going for the gusto on him. Which means that, guys, if he's found guilty, anything under his enterprise, they're taking. Unless he gets a pardon. But then, unless he gets a pardon, but so we'll see. But I was like, damn, how about, okay, well, if they had, here's the thing, what somebody else told me, if they had charged him with that, just only that, wouldn't she be a co-conspirator? Possibly so. She could be a co-conspirator, but she testified against him. So that means she don't have to do any time. She wouldn't have to worry about that. She did her job already. So yeah, she did her job already. So don't have to worry about that. And I understand that, okay, she was wrong. He did what he had to do, years of abuse. But see, some of this stuff is outside the statute of limitations. That's why I said, okay, they're going with the RICO. But I'm more so going with what Sammy the Bull saying. I don't think they should have tacked the RICO on. So just charge them with whatever you want to do. It's a demand act, okay. I mean, not demand act, trafficking, okay. The RICO, they're playing for keeps now. Now, Abbott said, now I'm waiting to see more to prove the racketeering. Okay, I know you said he was going down, but you're still waiting for them to prove the racketeering. That's a problem. They only have about 3 weeks left. Remember, he has to have this trial within a certain time period. So they're running out of time. So if they don't put these dots together, they're not going to get them on the RICO. And
one of the problems that I'm having with all of this, though, because I did watch Sammy the Bull, was that there was a portion in there where they started talking about he was going with his daughters and things that was in the testimony. A lot of these things that people are repeating did not happen in court. They're not, they haven't been transcribed. They're not part of the official transcription, and they're making up lies. And so those kind of things are starting to taint me and how I feel about this case, because I'm not saying I'm a legal purist or anything like that, but those are lies talking about he did it with his mom. Like, this is all
Right.
salacious, and they're
And then
repeating it.
saying
And it,
that his mother sat on his face.
right,
Yeah, they're
and these
lying,
people are
man.
gullible.
Yeah.
That is pissing me off, because if you, and even with the freak offs, if you look at Cassie when she talked about the freak offs, she said her and Diddy in the hotels. I don't even know how it became freak offs included multiple celebrities. This seems like something we made up in the media, and so now everything is just taken, and people are running with it as if it's fact, and that's the part that I'm having a problem with. You're not sitting in a trial. Don't be making up stuff. Let's stick to what actually occurred. And if they keep it up, he is going to have a mistrial. And I hope if he does, then he's going to be let out, because now it's just people just throwing ish at the wall, and they're not keeping to the facts. You can't
Well,
nail this
what?
man
Well,
for everything.
if it's a mistrial, they'll have to do it again.
Will they have to, or is it up to their
They
discretion
don't.
though?
It's up to their discretion, but they'll more than likely take him back to court. But just like when they were trying to, do you know she's been outed now,
Who?
and
Oh, yes,
yeah,
yes.
she's been outed, and the thing is, the person that outed her might get in trouble. He just don't know it yet.
But that person, the first person who did it, he wasn't sitting in the courtroom. So do you think they'll have some leniency with him? He
Not
was not
necessarily.
at the,
It depends on what the prosecutors want to do. It's not necessary. They can still go pick him up.
because they could say that, well, because he could say, well, I didn't know. He could plead
Oh
that he
no,
was ignorant.
being ignorant
No?
is no defense in court.
Okay.
Nope. Being ignorant to the
Well,
law is not going to help you.
there are people sitting in the courtroom who have shown, or who have talked about her identity, and who have outed her as well.
Well, hey, like I tell you, that's them. Like,
Yeah.
if they can get away with it, so be it.
Right.
Okay, let me see what he's saying here. Let me see. Let me highlight this one. Max, if Trump pardons him, how will he make money going forward under this former Cohen? He can go back to normal, because a pardon forgives him. It's as if it never happened. So yeah, he can go back to regular life, and they can't never charge him for this again. Yeah, if he gets a full pardon, that pardon is very powerful. But let's say if he pardoned him after the conviction, if he gets convicted, that conviction stays on his record, but the everything else go away. He get his passport back. He's free to travel, get his plane back, everything. He's free to go. He can do business. But if I was him, I would just watch myself, though. But other than that, you said it is for prostitution and profiting. Yeah, he didn't profit off of it. That's what celebrity said. What's
Yeah.
the difference? Yeah, well, he not pimping. Yeah, I mentioned Fillmore Street.
Yeah. That was for profit. So I don't know
You
how this
know,
is working for
for the
him
record,
other than,
man. You know, so for the record, man. And let me tell you, celebrity. Let me tell you the joke, inside joke on that.
uh,
I had went to Los Angeles last year, May. Right.
mm-hmm.
It was my first time going there. You said, so the Mann Act is canceled for that alone. No, the Mann Act is not canceled for that alone. The Mann Act, if it's added with prostitution or sex acts, that he pays somebody to cross state lines for the purpose of sex acts, not prostitution. They could use that and get him on the Mann Act. So that's why this is like, it's a little dangerous for him. And I just don't feel right about it, but that's just my opinion now. I haven't been feeling right about it for a long time, because you notice I kept going back and forth. I'm not feeling right about it. That's why. And I'm now that I feel like I outed myself, I'm okay now. I feel better about it now. Okay. So I was in celebrity. I was in Los Angeles last year, May, right? From the first
Uh-huh.
time. So I said, I want to know what this street is about. Figueroa.
Yeah.
I want to know what Fig is about. Man, I went on Figueroa Celebrity. It was everything they said it was about.
Yeah.
And I went to this gas station. I didn't know that's where they fellowship at, the pimping.
Oh.
So this guy, when I'm going in there, he's coming out, hey man, it's almost like, it was weird. he just automatic. I said, hey, what's going on? He started talking to me as if we've been talking. He said, hey man, you know how you shake your hand? It's a long handshake.
Mm-hmm.
He said, yeah, man. Me and him just shaking up and down. He said, yeah, man. He said, they acting like fags out here, man.
What?
You know what I'm saying? They being fags out here, man. He said, they don't want to give a pimp his money today, man. But he said, yeah, my name is something for the record. And then I said, yeah, they call me Maxwell V. Wonder the Third, no relation to Stevie, for the record, man. I said that. He said, where you coming from, pimping? I said, I'm coming from Virginia, you know, by way of New Jersey. Oh, you cross country with it. You cross, and then he shook my hand again. I'm not a pimp, guys, but that's how they act.
That's how they act.
Yeah, they do. They real cool. He was cool. And they were telling me where, you know, places to eat and stuff like that. They were telling me because they knew I was from out of town. But that was my, they act just like how they act on YouTube. That's how they act, some of them. He was an old school. He wasn't too old. He probably was in his, he wasn't old. He's in his 50s.
I think people
Late.
have a misconception about the pimps because I dated a guy and his brother was a big pimp here in Oakland for some years and stuff. So I would be with them and the prostitutes and everything. But all of them don't be beating up on their girls. They live regular lives. They be having houses. I mean, it's pretty normal. It's almost like, and I'm not condoning it, so please don't get me wrong. But like they had normal lives. Like they would do their jobs in San Francisco, like at the St. Francis. They would take them out, and they would have multiple girls, and they weren't all slapping up and down on them. So when I look at this case, I'm looking at it from the ones that I see where, like, because, you know, Oakland is really, really big on trafficking. That's huge. For us, trafficking are the young girls that they driving in the vans, snatching them off the streets. That's really big out here. We got the billboards and everything. We got the areas. They circle the blocks where they're looking for the underage girls, the ones who can't get away. So when you telling me about grown people flying on their own volition to go do some activities, I don't see that as trafficking. I know I don't make the laws, but that's why I'm not so, maybe I'm jaded because that's not it for me.
Well,
So
here's the thing. And with the Mann Act, okay, the Mann Act, see, that's different. Okay, when we think of sex trafficking, we're thinking about the pimping. But with the Mann Act, all he have to do is prove that he flew him across state lines for the purpose of a sex act. That's it. And they're done. They're going to the next charge. They got him with the Mann Act. That's it.
So that's the same thing that they got R. Kelly on then. He had minors, but he also flew adult women as well.
Yeah, they got R. Kelly on a bunch of stuff.
But I mean, the Mann Act was one of them.
Yeah. R. Kelly was, yeah, his case is sick. R. Kelly is, and he was the only one sitting at trial, wasn't he?
Exactly. That. Well, he had co-defendants, but they flipped on him and they got immunity. So
yeah.
Similar to what he's going through as well.
That's why, remember what's her name said in the elevator? I ain't gonna say her name. She's a very prominent attorney. She said they got him either way.
Yeah.
Remember she said he screwed it either way. Remember she said that?
Yeah.
Yeah. She said he screwed it, and she's a very prominent attorney.
Yes.
She said don't matter, he screwed anyway.
But Max, you know, she has a case against him too, though.
I know she does.
Yeah. This one is troubling though. It's like, I know what he did to Cassie was wrong. I do.
For sure it was. Mm-hmm.
But they keep saying that he's not on trial for that. It's for the freak off and the trafficking portion. They're saying he's not being the reason what we're seeing with him beating her up in the hallway, that's domestic, but they're saying that's not it. It's the fact that a freak off was in commission.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay, that video. Okay, right. D Squared. R. Kelly was convicted of the Mann Act. Why? Because he crossed state lines to do sex acts.
Yeah.
That was real easy to get him on that. Yes. So that's why Diddy is on the verge of being caught on the Mann Act. Now, let's say if they got him on multiple occurrences of the Mann Act, well, they already satisfied 2 predicate acts already. They've already. How many? Remember when they listed all the guys? They just established 2 predicate acts. They just established it. This is like overkill at this point. They've already established it. That's why I'm saying that when they charge him with the RICO, I remember when I first heard, I said, here we go. They charge him with the RICO. Then I said, damn, what was he doing? So that's a way to weaponize his lifestyle. That's what they did. And he's going down. Is he on the verge of going down? But I think he may get a pardon, maybe. I don't know. But then I said, maybe he not, because Trump said he used to like me, but that all changed when I got into politics. And I know how he could be petty. So yeah, he could be petty, man. So I don't know.
But I feel like he's saying that he used to like me. But if he puts Diddy next to his nemesis, which is Comey, he's gonna have a bigger axe to grind against Comey. Diddy could give him some money. Diddy could kind of grease his palms with some money and apologize. And Diddy could say, man, it was a political campaign. I was doing what the lobbyists wanted me to say. He can make that right.
He's not trying to hear that, though. He's all about loyalty.
Yeah, but look at what Comey did to him, though. He fired this man. So this, to me, he would really want to make him look like.
He wasn't cool with Comey like that.
I know.
He was never cool with him like that.
But look at what Comey did in terms of turning over documents and emails and trying to get this indictment. And he really tried to disrupt his political career.
Yeah, I could see him embarrassing his daughter. If he want to really embarrass her, just pardon him now, before the trial's over. So that all the work would have been for nothing.
But no, wait a minute. But I think it would be an even bigger one if he waits, because then it's like he overturned it.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
It's like, let her get through the end and think she has this victory, and then I'm gonna snatch that rug right from under her feet.
Right.
You know how Trump is.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I kept studying this. I said, "Damn, man, it's easy to get them when they tack that criminal enterprise on. Okay, all they have to do is get the Mann Act on them, because she just described it. She said, well, we used to." Yeah, some of them we should fly out, stuff like that. And, the free cost consisted of sex. That's what the free cost consisted of. That's a sex act. And if it's cross state lines where it's illegal, then yes, they got them on the Mann Act. They got them. They got them on multiple times of the Mann Act. Well,
remember the Punisher, he tried to some degree, he tried to distance himself from being an ex-worker by saying, it was professional. He wasn't there to do that. But then ultimately, as time went on, he was, that's all they was doing, because he tried to say he wasn't an ex-worker. He was saying he was an entertainer.
That's true. Now, in the statute, it says, even if it's consenting, if you paid for sex act services across state lines and it's illegal in that state, that's the Mann Act. That's what they did for Jack Johnson, because Jack Johnson, it was illegal, as you know, for marrying outside your race. And he stuck his middle finger, him and his wife, they stuck their middle finger up. They were protesting when they got married. They stuck their middle finger up at the system, because they both were conscious. They stuck their middle finger up at the system, like, you're not going to tell us to do nothing. If we want to get married, we're going to get married. That's how they both were really conscious like that. And she fell in love with him because he was a very well-read man. He was very articulate. He was like a Renaissance man back then. He was way before his time, Jack Johnson, a very well-read man, self-educated. He was very articulate, and the women loved him. And he wore the nice tailored. Listen, he's the reason why boxers act the way they do now. You know how the boxers, they all wear the tailor-made suits and they try to be more than what they are?
Yeah.
That's from Jack Johnson. And then, that's from Jack Johnson. So he drove the fast cars, drove the fast cars and stuff like that. The Cuban cigars, this man dressed like $1 million. He was doing that back then. Gold teeth in his mouth. Man, he been doing it. Diamond pinky ring, celebrity scandalous. He's been doing that. And they had a problem with it, right? So look, they said, we getting tired of this dude. We getting tired. Did you know every time he won a fight, somebody in the South got hung? Right afterwards. Right after a victory, somebody got lynched. right after a victory.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, matter of historical fact. And when he used to beat him in his prime, he used to talk shit to him while he was beating their ass. Right? So after his heyday, so what happened was they got him on the Mann Act, and that was like the Jack Johnson law, right? And when he was in Europe going around, because you know he was wanted, he was a wanted man. So he finally came back to the United States, and his mother was sick, and the person that arrested him was waiting for him to turn himself in. He would not put handcuffs on him because he said, "I'm going to give him the dignity to come in here as a man," and he didn't do it. He said he shouldn't be here. They didn't put handcuffs on him. They didn't even lock the cell when he was in the cell. They refused to lock the cell. He walked freely around the jail. And look, this is back during no racist times. They felt like they had the decency and enough to know he didn't do it.
They knew he was wrong. They knew they were wrong.
Yeah. So, okay. So did you know when Joe Louis came along, there hasn't been another black heavyweight champion in a long time until Joe Louis came along. So when Joe Louis came along, they made him sign an unofficial agreement that every time he would win his boxing match, he would not celebrate. So if you go look at Joe Louis, after he knocks somebody out, he'll go to the corner and just stand there with a poker face. And then
my dad taught me that. He taught me that he had to be. They wanted him to be humble.
Right. And then they told him, if you want to date white women, do it on the low. They told him that. And but anyway, so that's the Mann Act with Jack Johnson. That's a little history on the Mann Act, as we all know now. So yes, it was racially. It does have racial history to it. They're saying this is not a racial case, but that Mann Act has racial undertones to it. It does. It does. That's how it started. So regardless of how they say it, like I said, I'm not taking up for Diddy than what he did to her, because he was just a handful, yo. He was just horrible. And I don't think Cassie wanted to testify. I think she just had to do what she had to do. That's it. She got her money, and that's it. So
the early reports was that she did not want to testify. She didn't even want to talk about it, because remember, after she got her money, that people were coming out, they wanted her to do interviews, and she just asked for the to respect her privacy and her family.
mm-hmm.
So I don't think she wanted to come forward. I don't.
But she had to. She had no other choice. So
yeah. And when you talk about the Mann Act, when you talk about the payment, she was part of that. Even if it was Diddy's money, she was the payor, right?
Yeah, she paid him.
So that's how they were able to get her. But, through her testimony, she's able to absolve herself. But I mean, I think the thing with the R. Kelly was the Mann Act was part of that as well. But also, I think the thing that even made it worse for him was that he had minors. And that's where I think that's why they brought in that Mann Act. I mean, of course, paying them to go across state lines is part of it. But the fact that he had minors made it look even worse for him.
Yeah, the minors made it. It was just, people didn't care about him at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't care. I think the parents should have been on trial with him.
Yeah.
They should have been locked up with him. Mm-hmm.
They knew.
Because they pretty much sold their kids.
Yeah, I don't know about Diddy. I mean, I feel like I agree with you. I feel like it's an overcharging. If he could get some kind of domestic charges or something, I know they said there's the statute has run, but that's what I would be looking at him, like punish him for what he did to Cassie, maybe some workplace issues he has, the things that he did wrong in the workplace, but all this extra stuff is like, I don't know.
You said, Abbott said she wasn't no sex slave. She was an opportunist that did any and everything to keep her opportunities coming. Yeah.
And that's another thing. I mean, there's a contradiction of it. Like, I didn't want to do it, but she didn't say I was in fear. She never said, from what I remember from her testimony, that she was in fear for her life. I mean, But when she says the stuff about the JayZ or he's going to take my apartment and my car, like those things are troubling to me because you're putting material things over your safety. That's your choice.
Hey, Brina, you got to rewind back. You said why you feel sorry for Diddy power dynamics lessons. Now you got to rewind back and then you understand the context. Yeah, I would say rewind back and you will understand where I'm going with it. It's not about feeling sorry, but you'll understand why. Because I really dissect the law and study it so much that I feel like they overcharged him. Sammy the Bull said it too. And who else would know better about the RICO than Sammy the Bull Gravano? Okay, a mob hitman. John Gotti's right-hand man. He even said he shouldn't have been charged with the RICO. He
I
said
think
it.
when we want the
And you
law
know
to
what
be
else he said?
applied,
He said Cassie should be sitting at that table with him.
to me it's frustrating when people think when you're asking that the law be applied correctly or what you perceive to be in the correct way, why people think that you're having like you're feeling sorry. It's not that. You're just looking at what they're presenting and the facts the same way the jurors would do. So it's not like we're feeling sorry for him. It's just like, well, based on information, this seems like an overcharge. That doesn't mean we not saying we feel sorry. He whipped the girl's butt. He should pay
Right,
a penalty for that, but maybe not this one. I don't know why people get confused by that.
right.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah, you have to go to somebody else. I know a little something about the law. You got the wrong channel. You really do. You said, but he taught Cassie and the rest of them lessons in power dynamics and now government teach. I see what you're saying. I see what she's saying now. She's talking about the whole power he had with Cassie and them. Now he's getting his karma. That's what she's saying.
Okay, maybe it's karma, but the government cannot put themselves on the same level as a criminal. So if
Right. They
you
have
got
to be above the law. They have to
right,
be a moral authority.
yeah, the
Not
law
moral.
has to work fairly for
Right.
everybody, even
Fairly.
people that unalive people. So I can't go by karma. Let's go by the facts and the laws.
I get what she's saying, but
Too. I mean, I get it, but I just want the law to be applied justly. You know,
right.
I win or lose nothing if he goes to prison. Honestly, it's not that, you know.
Right.
And I can't see the chat, so
Yeah. It's definitely something. It's a good conversation. It really is because some people really, some people. You said I agree. It should be justly applied. Some people believe, regardless, we know he's guilty of all that domestic stuff and just being crazy. We do know that. Even Sammy the Bull said they could have just charged him with that. They could have just charged him with the sex part and still probably got a conviction. They didn't have to do the RICO. The reason why they're doing a RICO, they're gonna take all his money. So that's the reason. That's the only difference. They're going for the gusto here.
so are they doing it to punish him for what he did to Cassie? Because see, some people think the law also cares about
No,
getting justice,
celebrity.
and hmm?
Wait a minute. What is she saying? No, she's not fanned out.
Stand out for who?
Y'all gonna start getting blocked in a minute. I'm telling you, I don't have patience for it.
I got a billion videos against Diddy, but since I'm actually in the courtroom, my views have changed. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't.
sitting there too every day.
Yeah, so what I fanned out how I'm still making videos. Feel bad about the videos that I'm making when I see his kids in there and I'm flaming their dad. So fanned
And
out.
Abbott said she left her boyfriend just to be with him. The same boyfriend that gave her own and only smash hit, right? Me and You. She's about Ryan Leslie. She did have a hit. I ain't gonna lie to you. I like that song. She could have been something with Ryan. Because she had that Aaliyah vibe. She said if he's convicted in RICO, they'll freeze and see. Right. Yeah, absolutely, D squared. Yeah, she had that old Aaliyah vibe going on. and then she shaved the one side of her hair. That was kind of, I like that. That was like a rebel kind of thing what she was doing. And she just had it going on. She did have it going on. I ain't gonna lie to you. She could have done something. She didn't have to be like a super talented singer. She just had to look. All she had to do is dance, get her dance down.
Now you notice with the shaved side of her head, Diddy made her do that. And did you notice with Mia, same situation? I don't think she shaved her head, but she wears her hair like that, half Cassie
Yeah,
style.
Mia had her hair like that, right? I kind of like that.
It's cute.
Yeah, I kind of like that a little bit.
But she got that from Cassie though.
Uh-oh.
What?
Well, we don't know if, okay. Well, you just, okay, never mind.
Well, but
It's
it's not into details, but
the
yeah.
cat out the bag, though. It really is.
But not from you or
And she got that, like, attitude, like, yeah, they were, he had the right ones, yo. He did. Them was his, they were like Diddy's angels.
Yeah, that's cute. Diddy's Angels.
They were
Ooh,
Diddy's angels, man.
that's a good thumbnail.
That was Diddy's angels. They
That was
both
it.
had the same hairstyle,
And I do think she was messing with Diddy behind Cassie's back. I think
I
it was
believe so
mutual.
too. I don't believe what she said. I believe the story was they were messing around. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
She said it, it's, yeah. You said there's a former pimp who have a podcast. He paints a big picture of what the Diddy case is all about. He is spot on. He's been there, done that. You talking about Gorgeous Dre? He must be talking about Gorgeous Dre. Let me see. Andre Taylor? I have to go see if he's talking about it. I have to go see it because they charge him with that. I remember when he was when they did the what was that? It was American Pimp. He said, I was facing, what did he say? He said, I was facing 30 years. Or something he was saying. He said, they got me under the Mann Act. Pimping and pandering. But he got out though.
He beat it?
No, he did some time.
Well, Max, wasn't Chopper charged with
Yeah,
something?
Chopper went through it as well.
Okay, what was his
He
for?
went
And
through he beat it though. Chopper he did a little bit of time, he beat that case.
but was it federal?
No, it's state.
Okay. I was gonna say if he beat it, I know Diddy can.
Yeah, they were Diddy's angels, man. That's what they were. Because they had that like edge to them. She had an edge to her. They had an edge to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, the hair and you said I don't believe Diddy. I don't believe it either, D squared. I don't. I'm sorry. I just gotta keep it 100. I think she lying. For real. On some stuff. Now, was she there when he jumped on Cassie? Yeah, I believe that. I believe all that. Do I think that the stylist was telling somewhat the truth? Yes, but he was doing too much on the stand, and I ain't like that. He trying to be too cute on the stand. So, but did he put Cassie through a lot? Of course he did. Of course, he did. She's, man, crazy. I see how she wanted some money for sure. You're not gonna sit up here and not give me nothing. You better give me my money.
It's too bad they can't get him on like DV charges or where he could do time for that versus some of this other stuff they're tacking on. Because I think that's where some of the jurors are going to have a hard time. It's these expanded charges. Like if they could narrow it down where the stuff that he solely did to Cassie, the workplace issues, things like that, it would be believable. But I don't know.
The Milwaukee pimp they arrested. His name is what's his name? His name is I can't think of it. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he did do time. He did. Yeah, I do believe he treated her poorly. He absolutely did. And now I believe never mind. I can't get into that. Paying
Yeah,
for
get into
escorts
it.
for the sexual pleasure is buying. But if he crossed state lines with it, Avid, that's the problem. He said, Max, did you see Diddy's ex-stylist out Capricorn put on black? I didn't see that. He said buying illegal drugs, getting prescription of other people's names. Yeah, I see that. I have a friend named Tony Room. He got a man again, 22 years. Having guns without a permit. Oh, Pimp. Yeah, Snooki. Yes, Pimp Snooki. Right. They gave Snooki some time. Snooki was doing too much. He was. He had the girls walking with their head down. I think that was all for the show for that documentary. But they wanted the lifestyle, and he made them all high functioning junkies that they were dependent on. It was just that lifestyle they were in. Drugs was
I
a
think
part of
that
it.
they were all junkies, to be honest. You know, it's like
It's
any other
crazy.
crew when everybody be doing drugs, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Bad choices on everybody's part in that crew, all of them. I guess that's my point. It's just they all did some stuff, and we know they all did because they most of them are co-conspirators. But they just got a break because they wanted Diddy so bad. If they didn't just want Diddy, they would all be sitting there with them. That's it.
Yeah, they all
That's
be
how I
sitting there.
see it. Yeah.
Mia be sitting there with him.
Because the reason Gina Han is not there, again, this is all our opinions, no facts, is because they don't have nothing on Gina. If they really well, she could be a hostile witness too, though. But I feel like if they had something big on her, she would have showed up.
Yeah, Gina out there chilling. What
People
did
talking
she?
about Gina disappeared. Gina ain't disappeared.
No,
She's
she
still on.
didn't.
She doing her Instagram lives.
Yeah, saying it had the song "Pay My Bills."
Yes,
Dun dun dun.
Gina partying. She's like, I'm not tripping.
Yeah,
And
Gina
but
talking about you paying my bills and
she did post something saying, I just because I was looking at her timeline and she posted she don't believe in love or something like that. Love is a waste of time. So she's not stupid. Diddy may have had her in a wait for a minute, but Gina getting her bills paid.
that's true. Hold on, let me say this, Abby. She's right about that. Um, we haven't. She said our opinions on the RICO is based only upon what we heard thus far. We don't know what else the prosecution has to present. As of today, I don't think they have met their burden. Right. I feel that way too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't feel like they met it yet, but if they could hit us up with something tomorrow.
I mean, well, they have presented things that would support the RICO, though. They
Yeah.
have. So if we're saying, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't. So they have presented the things like the kidnapping and certain things that they're saying that the organization carried out, different acts of violence per his orders. I mean, they are showing incidents and situations. So when people say they haven't proven it, like what more do they want though? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because with each new testimony, it's like they're methodically building, and the next person who is testifying is corroborating the prior witnesses. So they've shown arson, they've shown the kidnapping, the extortion or bribery. I don't know, the Cassie's mom. So like, what more kind of things are we looking at? Do we need?
We'll see. Unless they coming out with hitting us with something that's crazy.
I mean, and I've already talked about he kidnapped people. He
You
blew
think
up a
he'll take the
car.
stand?
Huh?
You think he'll take the stand?
Well, remember I told you, and who knows? I mean, people are just talking. Was somebody close to his campus saying that they're starting to think that he may have to? So I, I, I just think they're gonna tear him up on the stand though too. The same way they did Mia, I feel he's gonna fumble. I don't see that there's any way for him to justify some of the things that they're accusing him of. It's not. His actions were deplorable. How do you defend that? So why would he get up there? What are you gonna say? You were high? He already gave us an apology, and then we found out that to be a lie. So why would they put him in front of the jurors? He's already he came on television and or on IG where he made the post and said, "It was a dark time in my life," and he didn't do all those things. I mean, but you did. So I mean, what is he gonna say that we would believe?
Right.
I just don't think that him getting up there is going to do anything different than that one video that we saw, because we saw that it was a lie, that you did beat up Cassie. We've seen contrary to what you said, and there are people corroborating it. So him getting on the stage is just going to be his word against theirs. And the evidence has shown us that he's done a lot of these things. So the only thing that I think, even with the arson, it seems like he did it, but I think they still haven't proven it based on, and it'll depend on what the judge's jury instructions are. But I mean, there's still an element of, oh, he may have said something because he was always irate and going off the top of his head. But even if you're saying something about, I want somebody's car to blow up and their car has a fire, that's kind of circumstantial. It's like you spoke it and it happened. But then you could always say, well, Cuddy was dealing with, maybe Cassie did it because she was pissed. I don't know. You can't find elements of reasonable doubt in there, even though we know more than likely he did it. But can they prove it? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, it's we'll see. Like Abbott said, was yet to be seen.
Okay.
John. John Tacopina.
Yes.
He said they ain't proved no criminal enterprise to him. He said, "Where is it?" I wish he was on there. I wish he was on the team too.
I've been watching him because he was with Mark Garagos and Harvey Levin. But the only problem I have with his statements, which I do listen to him, but I would prefer that it be on a neutral channel, because we know that Harvey Levin, Mark Garagos, they're all in bed together for TMZ on the side of Diddy. So I want to see an objective channel give something, because who's going to sit in front of Mark Garagos' face and say Tenny is going to lose this? You know what I mean? They're not going to do that.
Right, that's his daughter.
Yeah.
Right. Abbott said they haven't proven it to me yet, neither. So, well, here's the thing. If he can beat that first major charge, now he's in the ball game. Because if he beats that first major charge, they're definitely going to say he's innocent on the second one.
What are you calling the first major charge? What are you deeming to be the first
RICO,
major
the criminal enterprise. If he beats that, as far as beating all those predicate acts, then he's in the ball game. The gun charge is a little problematic, but that don't carry that much time. It doesn't carry that much time. He'll have a year served already. So he's looking at 4 years. Out in 3. He can serve all that in the MDC. Yeah. He has to beat that he has to beat that racketeering. He does. You said being a freak that's willing to pay for his kinks doesn't prove RICO. I like Abbott. She 100 with it. She's like, yeah, man, we not against him or for him, but we trying to be fair here.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
I had to come on so because it wasn't sitting well with me. I was like, damn, man, like they ain't got him in my opinion yet. I'm sorry. So on the racketeering.
Now, Max, let me ask you this. let me ask you this, because I have not thoroughly gone through Maya's testimony. I have solely been relying on people who have been in the court, not people just on the outside, because I'm learning they'll say anything. But based on Maya, people are saying, oh, Maya lied. He's going to walk. How can they even base it on one person's testimony, even if you don't find her credible? And maybe
No,
let's say that, yeah, you can't base it on one person.
no.
Okay.
I don't think she lied about everything. As far as the abuse part, no.
Yeah.
But they turn a blind eye to it. So they
Who
just as responsible then.
who
She
turned a
turned
blind
a
eye?
blind eye to it.
Oh yeah. But I don't think even if they find her testimony not credible, just people who are saying he gonna walk behind that, I don't
No,
think so either. Because they're
it has
acting
to be
like
a little more.
exactly because they're acting like her testimony is enough to make it. It's like that's one person. We've seen other people testifying showing how terrible he was. So I don't think, even if she did lie,
Right.
I think that's why they needed all their witnesses, why all the witnesses are important.
Yeah, they're all really, really important. They're all very important at this point. To try to put it all together. Like it's okay. Let's try to see if we can get them on this. No, how about this?
So what are your thoughts about the arson though? How are you feeling?
Um, yeah, the arson, I would say okay, yeah, he did do that. He had somebody do it. But I told you if I'm on the jury, I'm thinking about nullification at this point. Because I think they overcharged him. And I don't think, damn, he going away for the rest of his life. I don't think that's deserving here. I don't. So I would have to be like he's not guilty. Even though I know he is. See, I know the law. I know about nullification. I would exercise it. Even though I would hate to, because I feel like they overcharged him. Now, if they didn't charge him with the RICO, yeah, he's guilty on everything. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But
Anything
what
for
you're
click.
saying is,
Here come anything for click. He said, I like 304. They fun.
but what you're saying is right, because based on the judge's jury instructions, that's going to be what determines how the jury is supposed to rule anyway. So
Yeah.
you're right.
Oh, damn, Roy. You remember Heidi Fleiss? You remember her? Celebrity?
I do. The madam.
The Hollywood madam.
Yep. I remember her.
Heidi Fleiss. She did get arrested. And she had a black book full of congressmen and everything.
Yep. Did she get RICO charges?
No, she was the pimping.
Right, but she would have. But that's organization, right?
But pretty much a slap on the wrist. But they
What was
got
her?
her black book though.
That's what they wanted.
Yeah.
They wanted the book so them congressmen didn't get in trouble.
So maybe Diddy got a black book. Maybe he has like tapes. It makes sense.
But wait a minute. But remember, the government said that they have the
Yeah,
tapes
she
that
got charged by state. Yes.
remember they're saying that they got the tapes, but they're saying all of the things from the freak offs or incriminating were on Cassie's. Remember they said that.
Yeah, but people are asking about the Diddy parties though. Where are them tapes at? That's what people were thinking they were going to see, but we didn't see that.
But is it real though? The Diddy parties, maybe it was just tapes of
Well,
people partying.
if he got stuff on high profile people, no, it ain't real no more. If they got it, we would never know.
That's true.
And if he keep his mouth shut, he might get that pardon. Because so far he kept his mouth shut on everything.
But let's think about this. The whole celebrity party stuff started in the media. Based on what Cassie said.
It did.
Based on Cassie talked about freak offs. Her freak offs, if we go back, because I had to go back and read her lawsuit against him. She talked about the freak.
He said, "Where is the Carl Winslow tape?" That's hilarious. Hold on, let me let you see it. Hold
on. The Carl.
You remember what they said about Carl Winslow?
No.
that he was at the freak offs being a power bottom.
Oh yeah. People were making up
Allegedly.
stuff. That's the point. But the government said the stuff that they seize, but that's a good point. If they see some things on some high profile people, they will want them to go away. But
E Beauty
Cassie
said to me, I feel like they're all lying for their own benefit, including Cassie. The only proof is the video that everyone is judging him for, which is why he will most likely be found guilty.
but
Shout out
Max,
to E Beauty for that comment.
Max, listen, at the freak offs that she referred to, we have learned freak off parties had nothing to do with other celebrities. Diddy did not even want
Abby
that
said, I
side of
made my
him.
judgment already. Puff is lucky.
Huh?
I'm not on the jury. Yeah, Abbott, man. He's like, no, Abbott, you say you don't have him on the racketeering. Celebrity, you still there?
Yeah, no, what I was trying to say is those freak offs can you hear me?
I can't hear. Celebrity?
Yes, I'm here.
Can y'all hear her? Because I can't hear her.
I can hear you.
I have to go in and come back out.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Oh, no, you didn't have to go in. I hear you. Oh, my bad. She'll come back. You said again, if the lube doesn't slide, you got to let Puff slide. So you would vote not guilty, Abbott. Abbott, would you? Hold on. Let me see. Okay. I heard you. I just thought it was just me because you weren't saying. So, Abbott, you were fine, but you said that for right now they haven't proved the RICO on you, Abbott. So you would find him not guilty on that serious charge and then move on. You say he's lucky you're not on the jury.
Yeah, we still don't know the jury instructions either, though, too. It's all going to come down to the jury.
You said blackface is law. Said I will be and not guilty. I question the integrity of the witnesses' reason. Right. I question some of them too. Blank face. I had to keep it real with y'all, man. I do.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Mia. I'm looking at Mia sideways.
A lot of people are.
I'm looking at Capricorn sideways. I'm looking at them all sideways. Jaguar Wright was lying about saving people from Diddy.
Yep.
Yeah, where's those tapes, man? That's what I want to know.
What tapes, though?
They said that he had recordings all over his house.
But see, Max, who said the media said, right?
Right. The media said it.
That's the whole point. What we're learning is none of this is necessarily fact-based. We are getting the facts in court.
Right.
They embellished that tape situation, in my opinion.
And then they also were the ones that said he had drugs in the baby oil.
Exactly. That's my point.
Not true.
It's not true. Just like that Sammy the Bull tape talking about Diddy's moms. They testify she sat on his face and he messed with his girls or whatever. Come on, guys.
It's not true.
That's it's like, what?
That's not true. And then they making this crazy. Remember how him and Chance went to the awards? Remember how he was looking? He was proud of her.
Yeah.
He said, "My baby grown up." That's how I looked at it. They saying he looking at her in a sexual way, and I'm like, man, y'all shut up, man.
Yeah, they embellishing for clicks. And I get it. You want this person to be bad based on your emotions. I want this person to be guilty or not based on the facts. Period. Because I don't know him personally.
Yep.
Period. So. And Cassie, like, people want her to be this victim. I don't believe Cassie is purely a victim. I do believe she was a victim to some degree, but I also believe that she had a hand in a lot of this stuff.
I think she is a victim because she's an abuse victim.
No, I said she is a victim, but not. She is a victim, but she also had a hand in it. Two things could be true.
Right. I agree with you.
Yeah. She's a victim, but she wasn't solely innocent. And I think
So
people went. Hmm?
let me ask y'all a question after you finish.
I think the reason that this is for me that it's a hard pill to swallow is because when you have millions, damn near billions of dollars, because he was a billionaire, they reported at some point or pretty close to it. When you have this kind of money involved, it's hard to know the truth and what people's motives were. That's the only thing. If this money wasn't involved, I would probably look at the women probably with a different eye. But the fact that I know people will damn near, they will kill, oops, sorry, YouTube, unalive people for money, it takes a different flavor for me.
Okay, let me ask you this. How do you think I should tackle this going forward? Like, just talk about what I'm hearing in court, right?
Hmm.
All right, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, because I mean, I think people come to your channel because people keep coming to
Because
the
they
same
want to
people.
know. They want to know
Yeah,
what's going on in
they
court.
want to know what's going on, but they also
Okay.
want your opinion as well. I mean,
All
we
right.
want if they can't be there, they kind of want to know. You don't have, maybe you don't have to go into depths, but they
Yeah,
kind
I'm
of want to
feeling
know
in
how you
between the
feel,
lines.
huh?
I'm going in between the lines with um, um, the other guy's not saying. What's inner city press? I'm feeling you guys in between the blanks.
Yeah, yeah, because it's hard to believe. It's a lot of stuff I didn't get from the tweets. I'm just finding out after the fact.
Yeah, there's some but somebody who puts out the transcript every day, do you know?
The clerk,
But
they're going.
somebody puts it online. Do you know who that is?
No, everybody's been getting them from different content creators or people or organizations like a CBS or one of those platforms. They've already paid the $10,000, so they get them every day.
It's like 2,000 a day, right?
I know, like 13 or something like that.
It's a lot of money to get those transcripts every day, folks. It's like 2,000 a day.
Well, it depends on how big it is, but if you wanted the whole packet, I think it was like 10,000 and something because Sylvia wanted us all to pitch in. So some of the platforms have already paid for them, so they just get them every day.
Wait, it's 2,000 every time you request it, or 2,000 in total?
No, it's not 2,000 every time. It varies depending on how big the transcript is.
Yeah,
But they had a flat fee where you could pay in advance and you pay like 10,000 and you could get them all.
every day.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, you'll get a transcript each day.
that's a racket. Everything costs, don't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
the
I mean,
price go down after someone purchase it.
but remember, she was trying to get us all to pitch in so we could get them every day instead of having to run around and beg for them.
You know what I would do? Because I know what the clerk office is. You know what I would say?
What?
I said, how much is it for 100 pages?
Yeah. Try to get a bargain.
Let me just get 100 pages. Let me just
Right.
do that. No, you got to
Half
get
the
them all.
testimony. So you get half of it.
Let me just get her testimony. How much is that?
Wait a minute. You know who that reminds me of? Chris Rock. How much it like really?
Yeah, yeah. And he had a knot of money.
Right. That's funny.
Look, how much is it for just 100 pages?
But wait, so do you
I'm like, you know what a clerk office is, right? On the 8th floor.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some people go through the transcripts every day, but that's kind of, I don't know.
They didn't ask her about it, Craig Tillman. They didn't ask her about the tapes. Because that's opened up a can of worms. I hope he get on. If I was him, I'll get on the stand and say, guys, you know I got a bunch of tapes on everybody, right? Oh,
Who
yes.
wait, who are they asking about the tapes for? Who asked what about the tapes?
No, Craig said, you think that Cassie knows that the tapes exist? If they do, did they ask her about? No, they didn't ask her about it, Craig.
Well, they didn't have to ask her because they said all of the tapes that we got of the freak offs was on Cassie's phone.
Right. That's it. That's what they said. All of the tapes that they received in the case, it was from Cassie's phone.
Anything having to do with like a freak off.
So what they're saying is when they raided his house, they didn't get no tapes. They didn't get nothing else.
Max, you know what? And another thing, based on what, see, here's the thing, people got to put the pieces together logically. If you sit through if you sit through these testimonies, Diddy was very, I don't want to say ashamed, but he tried to keep his hidden freaky sex life kind of undercover. So I do not think, he did not want none of this stuff at his homes. He did not want Cassie at his houses when she was beat up. So I don't think that he was doing all of this in his houses. Remember his kids, he wanted to have this Bill Cosby perfect image.
Right,
he wouldn't even let Cassie and half the stuff go on in his house. Now, if they said he was doing freak offs at like off sites or different places where he did not have all them cameras, I would believe it. I don't believe he was doing this stuff in his homes. He seemed to be very particular and persnickety about how he kept his house.
Because remember this guy came out, Courtney B said, oh, he got something on Justin Bieber. Remember?
Yeah.
That's cap.
It is cap, because he came back and he retracted that and said he wasn't sure. And then remember, he even said the feds talked to him. See, that's just another thing. People got to think a little deeper. Just because the feds talk to you doesn't mean that they could come and talk to me. I have nothing on the case. So all of this is just, he was trying to sell a book.
I'm sorry,
we don't even know
it was all cap.
It was. That's
cap.
what's pissing me off, because we're finding out what.
You hear how I'm saying it? You hear how I'm saying it? It was like I'm a kid. It's cap.
Yes. The book and
cap.
I did buy the book, Max. I do have the book.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
No,
I bought the book.
Huh? Oh, you do have the book?
Yes, I do.
No, I'm not talking about the book. I'm talking about the tapes.
No, I know, but I'm saying I bought that book in which he was referring to the tapes.
How did you read? How was the book?
Similar to the things that we're hearing now. Just kind of I feel like somebody who was close to her wrote the book. I feel like somebody did write it, because it's only like 60 pages. So I feel like somebody kind of took true situations. They kind of knew their private life. But they don't, even in that, not talking about big celebrity parties. They're talking about Diddy and her. Diddy wanted her to do it with Clive Davis. Diddy wanted her to allegedly do it with Tupac. Stuff like that. Still threesomes. It says, I think he wanted her to do it with Al B. Sure or something like that. So yeah, even that book is not as salacious as people made it, you know.
Oh, okay.
But I do feel there's some truth. I feel like there's some truth to it, but I feel like it's somebody who knew her. And those pictures that they have, there's some pictures in the book, but those aren't even nothing. It's not even anything. It's just like typical exhibits that they would show us, like when we were in court. It's crazy. I think I think a lot of people embellished it to sell videos or to, you know, get the clicks and the views. However, once you get into court and you're hearing the actual evidence, is not what they said it was. The things that they're talking about are pretty kind of boring or innocuous compared to the salacious things that we heard. You know, now the biggest thing that's different, that's crazy and shocking, was when they talked about, of course, Diddy, you know, and the threesomes, but when he wanted that the man's juices rubbed on his chest. Now that is kind of like one of the craziest things I heard. Or the fact that, you know, about the candles and the baby oil and how they messed up hotel rooms. But in terms of some of the stuff with the celebrities and all this extra stuff, not a peep about it. None of these people, Ali Carter, none of those names are mentioned. And most of the celebrity names that are mentioned are in relation to them witnessing Diddy doing something to Cassie. Up to now, a lot of this stuff has to do with Cassie, and then of course the Mia situation and the Capricorn, but yeah, I think the media took it and ran with it, just making up stories because that's what people want to hear.
Right. Yeah, people wanted to hear that part.
So, and do you agree that one of the craziest things was about him wanting to have the male juices rubbed on his chest? Like,
Yeah,
but
that's the craziest part.
yeah, I haven't heard nothing about JayZ and Beyonce doing nothing crazy. Maybe they were at a party where he smacked her or something, but that's about it.
Yeah, I haven't heard nothing that we've been hearing in the media. I was
Mm-mm.
waiting for all the celebrity tapes, but nothing is there. There's nothing. No celebrity tapes.
What about Justin Bieber? Nothing about Bieber.
Nothing about Bieber at all.
No Usher.
Nope.
And if it was so, and the way that these YouTube channels have been reporting it, if there was so much about Justin Bieber and Usher, because they're looking at like a 15 to 20-year span of things that he's done, I think their names would have come up by now.
Right. Nope. Their names have not come up. Or Usher.
Nope. No Jaguar Wright, no Allie Carter, no nothing.
Nope. No Allie Carter. Nothing. And I know people were waiting on it, but for sure it has not come up.
Oh yeah, even with Don's testimony, most of what they're reporting is instances where they were in a studio or they were somewhere where he popped Cassie for the most part, right? I mean,
Right.
yeah.
Yep, that's it. There's nothing else.
I keep sitting on the edge of my seat waiting to hear something like, okay, what about the big freak off parties? It's like, girl, the freak offs for threesomes. That's what it was.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, we were all waiting on it. It was like, did they say anything yet about this? Nope. How about this? Nothing.
Not at all. If anything, he was hiding, wearing disguises. It's not like something he was proud of, you know? So he kind of did it under a pseudonym, a fake name. He wasn't out there being Diddy. Diddy, the public persona, was the hip, cool, charismatic guy. Diddy, the dark diddler. No, that was done in the dark, in the privacy of hotels. That's the whole thing. They did this stuff in hotels, not in his
Right.
home.
Everything was done in hotels.
And because they're going to be introducing in the next week or so pages of his hotel stays, and they said it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars of hotel visits. That's how much he was freaking off in the hotels.
Damn.
So I even think that the after, when they say Diddy's parties, the after party, I even think his after parties may have been, people, maybe a little bit of nudity or rubbing up on somebody, but I don't think it's the freak offs that they're talking about. I think these were done in private. They're threesomes, but his after parties may have been a little seedy, I'm assuming, but it's not this.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I didn't. It's none of that stuff we got so far.
But look, if they want to lie for some clicks and views, we can give them some now.
Yeah, we could. I
Because
could
some
feel like,
people,
guys, allegedly Justin Bieber stuff coming up next.
right? If that's what they want to hear, because it looked like the channels that's embellishing are, hey, y'all love that.
Justin Bieber's coming next, man. For sure. But I can't do that. I mess around and get sued.
Yeah.
But
Somebody's
actually,
gonna get sued.
they wouldn't sue me. They'd be wasting their time. But, I don't think I get away with something like that.
I do think there are gonna be some lawsuits, though. I do. His legal team has a lot to focus on right now, so I don't have time to focus on people. But once they start going into those civil suits, I think they're gonna have time to go after people.
Well, I mean, technically, I don't have nothing for him to take, so he'd be wasting his time. But they'll shut my channel down.
Yeah.
They could do that.
Well, you got a car and stuff. They could come after. They could take assets.
No, I'm talking about when I'm talking about suing. I'm talking about somebody like TMZ.
Oh yeah.
Sue somebody like that.
Yeah.
That's big in the game. But no, they could sue to take your channel down or something.
There were some YouTubers that were being threatened to be sued though.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I'm trying to think of who. It's two people. I think two people, and I'll tell you the one person who they said. I'll tell you that offline.
Okay.
But yeah, they can't. There, people were getting cease or desist or else.
Give me 1 minute, celebrity. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, you guys. I'm gonna try to. Oh, it's just me. You guys, I can't see the chat. Let me see. I can't see the chat. Let me see if I. No, I'm scared if I go to another portion. I think I'll take myself off. But anyway, y'all, it's been really interesting. Like I said, for the most part, everything is pretty much fact based. Of course, it's the testimony for the prosecuting side, so they're really trying to make Diddy look bad. And just to reiterate it, Diddy has done some horrible things. But in terms of the RICO, kind of how we see like the mafia style and everything, it just doesn't seem to rise to that level. I personally think that he's not going to get off. I think that he's going to get some time. I believe that, but I feel like I feel like the charges he's facing, I feel like they're inflated. And that's just how I feel. But I do realize that he's done some terrible things and he should pay. But I also feel on the flip side is that, he had a team of people helping him, just the same thing that they said about R. Kelly. So I really just don't understand how everybody gets to point at Diddy and leave him holding the bag. That's just what I'm like, what? Because if you guys were, a lot of the things that they kind of did in their little circle. And they helped facilitated the bodyguards, and I even feel like the women who allow other women into their orbit, knowing what was going to happen, they lured allegedly other women in there. We haven't heard like heavy testimony on that, but when they talk about how they would get down and do their parties and stuff, I feel like these women knew what was going to happen when the next woman came into the circle. So I feel like they all have some accountability. You guys helped. You sat back, you enjoyed it, you got high, you partied, you spent money, you let the innocent people be initiated into this BS. Oh, but now you're a victim. I'm just not buying that. But not my decision. Is up for the jury. um, I Y'all, I can't. I really wish I could see. Let me see if I can make these comments bigger. Oh, okay. I got the comments bigger. Diddy's son said in that song they raided the wrong home. So what we heard, and I don't know if this is a fact, they said that when they talked about his island, his house on Two Star Island or whatever Star Island, that they had two homes. So I believe that's what they were saying, is that they had another little house right next to it, because when they showed the exhibits and they kind of showed the outline of his property, and they showed one like main house that had a little bungalow on it or a guest house, and then right next to it there's also a smaller home, but I think that's the one he was talking about, where you got the wrong house. I'm assuming, because that's where they showed two houses. But anyway, I don't believe, like, he's singing that song. I think he just talking ish, what he probably shouldn't have done. But I think he was just singing. And remember, I think people were saying after that, I'm sure Diddy's attorneys probably told him he needs to shut the hell up. And here's the thing: if you're talking about the houses of where the tapes, he had multiple houses. So why would if they didn't get the right house, are you saying that he only had tapes in one house? Again, I just don't buy that theory, because the way they were saying it, it was like Diddy, everywhere you went, Diddy had tapes all over. I feel like his houses were his sanctuaries, and I just don't believe that. Now, he may have had tapes, but I don't think they were for what, the allegations of the celebrity parties and taping people. Maybe. But if so, they've confiscated them and we'll never know. It's not something that they're going to make public at this point. Exactly. At this point, it's a moot point if you're talking about the tapes. Then freak off tapes in a safety. It could be. I mean, it's probably, if there are tapes. You know what? As I sit in the court, because anything is possible. But as I sit there, I realize that social media embellishes and they say things without facts. So wherever this thing came from about tapes that they had, it was not necessarily the government. Like, people saw them break in. I don't even know if in Cassie's tape, maybe Little Rob, maybe one of them said he had tapes, and then people took it and ran with it. I have to go back and look at the old complaints because I don't remember. But
Hey, I'm back. You hear me?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Name, videotape Cassie. What to stop anyone else? And I believe it. If he can videotape Cassie.
How you
What
doing?
to stop anyone else? B2, I'm not your that sentence that you wrote, could you rewrite it a little bit clearer? Because I don't understand what you're saying. I believe it. If he came videotape Cassie, what to stop anyone else? If he can videotape Cassie? I don't know. In terms of the freak off tapes in a safety box, yeah. If they were in his house, because remember, if they got when they broke in, because they do have hard drives, and they confiscated his technical devices, and so they were able to get photographs and things off of them. But again, you guys got to remember, like the government said, but they don't have freak off images. They were able to get a lot of images, but it wasn't the stuff that we necessarily wanted to hear or see.
Right.
B2B, they could have more, and whatever they have, it only is relevant if it's relevant to this case, right? So
Right.
whatever they have, freak off tapes of Beyonce or whoever alleged. I think people just want to see that. But if it's not relevant to something illegal, and if he was taping people illegally without their knowledge, I think that would be a problem. They're not raising that issue. Why wouldn't they add that to the RICO or trafficking? Max, what would that, if he's illegally taping people in the middle of sex acts, what would that be considered?
Illegally taping them. Well, I don't think you can do that in California. You tape them without their knowledge. So it's I forget what it is.
Okay, so if he was doing that and they had tapes to prove that, why wouldn't that be part of this case?
It's not
And
a
I'm
part of it.
asking you because some people are saying it in the chat. Why wouldn't they have those charges against him as well?
Right. That's a good question, but they may not have nothing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Anything they have can and will probably be used against him. They are trying to send this man up the river. So why would they hold back?
Because they don't have nothing. Maybe they could be trying to protect people that's on them tapes, if the tapes exist. But we don't know if the tapes exist or not.
But they don't even have to use all of the tapes. They could just use some for people who are nobodies.
No, if you're gonna use it, you got to go all the way with it. But I
Well,
don't think there's nothing there. I think, like you said, the media was sensationalizing and people were just running with stories.
yeah.
Just like the baby oil, drugs in the baby oil. There was no drugs in the baby oil. Just
Max,
like Tenny Garagos came out, she said a lot of stuff that was said against her client it was false. And it's a
listen,
media takedown so he won't get a fair trial. Maybe this was all planned so he wouldn't get a fair trial to taint the jury.
I did a video saying that he had GHB in the baby oil based on stuff that I read in the media. But now I'm realizing, oh, girl, that was wrong. It
No, he
wasn't
didn't.
true.
Right. He didn't have no GHB in the baby oil. Express Empress said, I think they raided to get those tapes, right? But if they did, and if there's something on there, we'll never know.
Yeah.
And look, he not snitching on nobody, as far as I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Like I had told Choke No Joke, he had posted something on Instagram that he said this. What he said on Instagram, right? And I had to hit him up. He said, it came out that Diddy's drug supplier was supplying Obama with drugs. And I said, Choke. I said, Choke. That's not true. I be there every day. I said, what came out about Obama was his picture was on the acid. That's all
Yeah.
that came out. And then he was like, yo, do you got the transcripts? I said, if I get them, I'll send them to you. That's what I said to him.
Max, can you hear me?
I wonder why he's not there.
That's what I asked you.
I don't know why. Maybe he's not in New York. Maybe he's not there. Maybe he's somewhere else. Because I remember one time I saw him out where I lived at in Richmond. I ran into him, but he didn't see me though.
So Max,
Yeah.
can you hear me? Can you hear
Uh-huh.
me?
Can you hear me?
So yeah, so Truth
Yeah.
Over Something said in the trial they have not said they have no freak off or kids with tapes. Can you address that? Because you've been sitting through this. They have not addressed it because apparently it's not something that they're
Girl
calling into
hasn't said.
evidence at this point.
Well, at this point, they said they don't have any. At this point, we ain't. But even in their opening statement, they would have said it.
That's
Or
what
maybe not.
exactly.
Maybe they hide in their hand. But no, so far, they haven't said anything.
If he had minors, just
That's
like
what
with R.
truth. That's
Kelly,
what Truth was saying though.
but just like with minors with R. Kelly, they listed that in the beginning of his trial.
Right.
Nothing was
Right.
hidden. They listed everything that they were going to approve. So
Okay.
they
Here's
have
the
not.
thing. Go ahead, Phil. I'm sorry. I have a bad habit with that. What you saying?
No, that's fine. No, they have not listed minors. And listen to truth, just so you know, we've been sitting in the court and what we've heard just from people who are close to different people is that they did talk about minors at one point, but it was taken off because Cassie was involved.
Okay, check this out.
Allegedly.
Abbott
If you want to
Abbott
hear
said.
that.
Okay, Abbott said they probably took them based off Jonathan Oddie's accusations. And then Jonathan Oddie, the other B said Jonathan Oddie, crazy as he was, told the truth. Now, here's the thing. We don't know if he's going to be a witness or not. That's yet to be
That's true.
seen. That's
That's
yet
true.
to be seen. Mm-hmm.
But we did hear about minors, you guys. They didn't talk about minors in their opening arguments. However, once we were sitting in the court and we start talking to people who were on whichever side, they did say that there have been allegations of minors. However, because Cassie was involved and they needed her testimony, that was one of the elements that they were not going to use.
Who said that?
I'll tell you offline.
Yeah, okay. I heard that too, but we don't know that to be true because the
Exactly.
lawyers
I
didn't say
know.
it.
Well, I know that you said because the lawyers didn't say it.
Yeah, the lawyers didn't mention that in trial.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't something that went on record, but I'm just saying when people are saying all of these things, we are there. We're in there.
So somebody said that Cassie allegedly was with a minor. That's why they ain't bringing that stuff up. But we don't. But the lawyers didn't say that, so we have to say that's hearsay.
Exactly. But but all this stuff that these people in the chat, not no offense, is hearsay too, because we are hearing the say in the courtroom.
Well,
so it's
to
just,
be fair with the people in the chat, they're not theirs. That's why they're trying to get it from us.
but
That's why they're saying that. They try and get it from us.
Yeah, but my thing is when people are saying that what we're saying is not true, we are solely basing our things on the things we're hearing in the courtroom.
Right.
Not from the media.
Yeah,
That's
truth
my
over
point.
emotions is right. This is going to the finish line. This is going to be a photo finish. They don't got them yet. I'm telling y'all, they don't have them yet. It's a photo finish. And it's going to come down to, like I said earlier, Mr. Brian Steele. Brian Steele has to do the closing. He has to.
Hello, D
even
says,
though Tenny Garagos did an amazing opening, her opening, guys, was amazing. But let Brian close it.
so Hello D says they did show the R. Kelly P tape. Exactly. So if there was something that they could show to even make this man look worse, I believe they don't necessarily have to show it to the gallery. They could show it to the jury. I believe
Right.
they would show it.
Right.
And they did show a picture from a freak off. They didn't show the tape. They showed a picture. And they
Right.
showed Cassie in the midst of it. I didn't see it. You didn't see it, did you, Max?
See what? Oh,
The
the
picture.
tape? No, they hid it
No.
from the gallery.
Yeah, they showed a picture of Cassie. It was a photo still of
They didn't show it to
Cassie,
the gallery. Right.
right, in a freak off.
Right.
But it was a picture, you guys. It wasn't the actual video.
Right.
And
And
there's
then
another
we didn't see it.
And there's an application that just came in last week from the prosecuting side where one of the witnesses who is allegedly involved in a freak off, I'm assuming it's like a one, two men, well, Diddy and a guy and her. She doesn't want her tapes to be showed. And so Inner City Press put it in the application saying that these things should be public. But
Yeah,
they're
they
saying
should.
that, hmm,
Yeah, there was an argument that the tape should be public to us. So, because we have a right to see it. But what they said was maybe what they'll do is just have members of the gallery to
yeah,
see it.
the jury, you mean, the jury.
Yeah.
Because I think he even said the press should be allowed to see it. I think he said,
Can you still hear me?
yeah, I can. Yes.
Okay, because my car is about to mute me, I think.
Yeah, so they do have tapes, but again, you guys, the videos that they're talking about are pretty much like Diddy with some female and maybe a male, one of the workers. So
This
it still doesn't. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. This is an interesting case, I tell you that much.
So Hello D says they took the jury in the back room to show them the R. Kelly P tape. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, they're not gonna show that to just everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they
I
definitely
really do feel like if he had tapes that he took illegally of people in particular sexual acts, I feel like they would have gotten him on that because that's illegal, right? It is. You can't film people private situations without their knowledge.
right.
So I don't see why that wouldn't be a count he's facing too.
Right. But yeah, they definitely wouldn't show us that. They definitely wouldn't. They definitely, because I know they were having a problem because Cassie has a right to privacy.
Yes.
So they didn't want to show the gallery that, but they said what they did was certain select members of the press was allowed to see it.
Yeah.
That's how they worked that out. But we weren't gonna see that. I knew we weren't gonna see it.
Right. Well, I think
Now some people claim that they saw it, but I think they
yeah,
capping.
exactly. I think they described it or something, and then some people acted as though they actually saw it.
Right.
But it wasn't even graphic, you guys. From what the description was, it was just showing her all greased up with the baby oil with some towels on the floor. I don't know if she was topless, but it still wasn't something from per the description, like, her hanging off a chandelier or nothing like that. It was just her by herself. And they were saying that she had been in the middle of a freak off, and the photo just showed her standing there looking high, allegedly,
Right.
baby oiled up and some towels on the floor. They said it just looked weird. So
Right. Yeah, that's what they pretty much said. But as far as us seeing it, nope, we didn't see it.
no.
We were thinking we were gonna see it, but nah. Yeah.
Because he take a lot of tapes though, remember? They said, because remember he was filming when he had her move the light like this, move the light like that. Like where are those tapes though? Because they said the only ones they took was on Cassie's phone. So where are those tapes?
Yeah, we didn't see it.
I know. Do you think they were destroyed?
I have no idea. We ain't see nothing like that.
No, we didn't. Listen, Max, I was ready to see because everybody was saying there was a tape with JayZ and Beyonce, allegedly. That's what I was
Nothing,
waiting for. I
nothing
know.
came out.
And J-Lo, and remember they've been saying, well, I mean, we still have time for witnesses to come, so I can't say that, but they were saying J-Lo was gonna be there and all these people. I'm like, okay.
Yep, none of those people were there. Like none of them people came out. But look, maybe they about to show something in a second. I don't know.
Well, we know that they're gonna be still showing some like police people that have arrived to scenes of the crimes and stuff. Didn't they say that for
Right.
next? So they got after next week, then they got 2 more weeks, right? Or how many?
They said that the prosecution should go another. Like they said, it could go until they said that they abbreviated their witness list. They're not going to call certain people, so they on track to be done. But it could go into the third week, the first of the third week, and then the defense, they're thinking they might go past the 4th of July,
So they're looking at what, 3 weeks themselves?
probably.
Now, okay, so when they come, they could call back some of the old witnesses, right? And new witnesses. Or how does that work?
They talking about they may call her husband.
Oh, that's right. They did. But but the prosecution could still call him now, right?
They could, but the defense said they might call him.
Oh, why? I
Yeah.
wonder why. I wonder how the defense
Well,
feels to help them.
didn't he work for Diddy? Technically, he worked with Cassie Trainer.
That's true. Oh, you think Diddy got some dirt on him?
I have no idea. I know they mentioned that in court he could be called, and that's why they didn't want him to witness it, because he could be a witness to something.
Well, I just listened to how Brian got Mia. I think you listened to it when he asked her about his birthday, and that was the day that he had allegedly done something to her. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Now, what did you think about that? Because he said, "Is this a special day for you?" Or and she said, "Not for me, for him." And he said, "The day that he assaulted you."
Yeah.
That's what kind of made her look bad, I think. Anything for Click says the husband was in the freak off. Ooh. I mean, that could be because wow. Wow. But you know what? They already went through the list of men and he wasn't listed. I don't know. Matt,
Yeah.
anything for Click said the husband could have been one of the men in the freak offs, but he wasn't mentioned in the beginning. He wasn't mentioned on the list of because they listed quite a few of the escorts. He was not listed.
Right.
So when you look at that.
Yeah. They didn't. Hold on. I'll be right back. All right.
Okay. Okay, you guys. So I'm reading what you're saying while Max is gone. Monica says probably there was a video where they were talking about pizza boxes and Diddy was allegedly talking to his sons. They have come back and said that more than likely was AI. So I don't know. But yeah, I remember when he was saying go hide the pizza boxes. Somebody probably was just trolling and he got a lot of views. Um Hello D said once they tainted the public videotapes and Diddy documentaries, it's hard to get a fair trial like they did R. Kelly. I agree. People, it's like once you hear something, even when they say something and the opposing side says strike that, once you hear something, it's hard to unhear it. So it's going to leave an imprint. So yeah, I agree with you on that. And that's why And I think that's why a lot of the things that we're hearing in social media, he's guilty in the eyes of social media, but will he be guilty in a court of law? And in the court of law is where it's supposed to be factual, not these made up stories that we hear online. This is YouTube, Instagram, all of these things, Facebook. Those are entertainment sites. They're there to entertain you, but it's not a court of law. And things that people say are not under penalty of perjury. So people say whatever because there's no repercussions. And you know, I'm really learning that as a YouTuber myself because I've, you know, repeated stories and done stories. And now I'm going to have to do better fact checking. I always try to be pretty thorough, but just sitting through this makes me realize how important it is to really stick to the facts. Because they'll have you out there reporting anything seriously with no truth, mainly to entertain people. Let's see. So I don't know if you guys know about the girls. His girls are they're back in LA. It looks like they haven't been coming to the trial lately, which I think is good because wow, for them to sit through some of the stuff that their dad has been accused of, I know he's humiliated. You know, it's heavy and it's terrible. And another thing about him is he seems to be a good dad. And I know people go, how could you be a good dad if you've done these kind of things? He put his family on a pedestal. But I'm thinking, Diddy, how could you want people to respect your children and love your girls when you out here wilding like this and treating women like that? Like, are you crazy? Clearly he is crazy. But, you know, I look at how kind and gentle he was with his baby girls. And I'm thinking, you got a lot of nerves the way you did Cassie, you know? Um, yeah, but anything for click says the husband was in the freak off. And I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. They haven't mentioned him, but he looks like they went through a rough spell and they were living with her parents. And Cassie just got clean or stopped doing drugs in 2023. And I think the husband probably was on some substances too. So I don't know. Because they got some pictures of him where he's looking a little out there. And it's crazy because as soon as she had been planning a tour. She was doing little appearances, you know, before she filed the suit. And so it looks like after she filed the suit and got her settlement, she canceled the tours because she need to do that anymore. So, oh, blank faces. Thank you. I used to be a litigation secretary, so not really smart, but I had a little bit of experience on the procedural part. So thank you. Um, let's see. Amber is saying on point, Monica. Tapes might be in pizza boxes. Yeah, I think again that's just a bit of, you know, social media. I don't put too much into any of those things. I'm just kind of sticking to the facts of the case. So, I mean, it's entertaining that those things about the pizza boxes are entertaining, but nobody's mentioning that stuff in the court. So, yeah. You guys, let's see. Come come through chat so I could talk to the chat. Well, I don't know what Max is doing, but let's see what else. So you guys know they say Mia bombed. They said Brian Steele. And see, this is a little hard for me because you know, getting the tweets and not being there. Okay, C Papa Mac. I've seen your name before, C Papa. Hey, based on everything so far, where do you think the jury is currently? Honestly, I'm not in the main. I haven't been in the main courtroom where I could literally see their faces. So I'm just gonna rely on the tubers and press that have been in there. And I've been hearing that eh, for the first, I'm gonna say first 2 weeks, it looked like everything it was going for the prosecutors. But as of late, they're saying that the jury is, you know, starting to respond more favorably to Diddy's side. So, you know, I think it's kind of starting to split. And I'm not in there, so I can't really tell you. because everybody has a different perception of what they're seeing. But after Mia, so I'm going to say the people that I've talked to who are in there, because those are the only credible people that I'm listening to at this point. Because when you're reading the tweets, it's hard to get, body language and everything like that. So the people that have been in the court, they're saying that, for one, allegedly there's been some sleeping going on. Like when the testimony gets too technical and they're diving or delving too deep into, little things that people want to hear, the salacious stuff. They do. If you in the courtroom and they start talking about, the left sphere of the roto, with the car, and people start to tune out. And I know I did too, when they start getting to zeroing in on things that aren't, So they're saying that at some points the jury has gotten sleepy, especially after lunch. I'm just telling you guys what people have said who have been in there. And they said that there's a couple jurors, I believe that are smiling or whatever for Diddy. So I know that it sounds like, from what I'm hearing, he does have a couple people that are nodding towards, in favor of him, or if they hear something. Oh, and when Don was on the stand, there's one woman in particular that I've consistently heard is for Diddy, but I won't give too much description because we're not supposed to. But yeah, so we're hearing that he does have some support in there, and he has support outside as well, believe it or not. Everybody is not anti-Diddy,
Yeah, that's right. He does have a lot of support.
B2B says, my question is, how did the assistants clean up all that up themselves, dumping the baby oil? Yeah, so he had to pay them to do that, and that was part of their job. But even after, so basically what they would do is the cleanup, but then still the hotel would have to come in and have their own cleanup. So they probably did, like the heavy cleaning, and then the hotel would have to do their secondary cleaning, and they were still billed for it because sometimes it would be so much damage.
Right. Yeah, they explain that. Yeah.
Amber says Diddy was the one who mentioned pizza boxes. Amber, that was in a recording that you heard on the internet, which could have been AI. So they have never validated that is a real call with Diddy. Okay, so
right.
So the things that you're hearing on the internet, you have to take it as a grain of salt. Now, when Kanye West was talking to Diddy on the cell phone, we believe that may have been Diddy because he was filming himself, and it sounded like Diddy. But when you hear an audio clip and you don't see faces, at this point with AI, you have to just kind of take it for a grain of salt. You don't know. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's all that's coming out, Yeah, all that's coming out to be probably false.
So Max, Sharice is saying, was it actually 1,000 bottles of baby oil? I don't know, to be honest, Sharice. I know that was a headline, but I don't know if it was literally 1,000. But what I will tell you is I wouldn't doubt it, because Diddy has some kind of an obsession with baby oil.
Yeah, he do. Now, they didn't mention in the trial that he had 1,000 bottles, but they did mention a lot of, for example, when he got arrested. When he got arrested, they showed the baby oil in his hotel room.
Yes.
And it wasn't 1,000 bottles. It was enough, but it wasn't 1,000. And some of the stuff, I don't know. Maybe they did confiscate that in his house, but it just didn't come out in court.
Now, the thing about the baby oil, when they arrested him, the thing that was kind of weird to me was they saw you see the baby oil like in some of his in a bag, then you see it kind of in the room, and then you see it sitting in the sink. So it's like baby oil in multiple places. I'm like, what?
Yep, sure was.
Yeah, B2B. He would not want men to treat his daughters exactly like he did Cassie.
Right.
That's something that I noticed, because I've been going back looking at some pictures of him when he was with his girls when they were little, and he
Right.
treated them like delicate flowers. He was very loving. So it's like, what you think about your girls? Like Cassie said, you throw me around like a rag doll. I'm somebody's child.
Right. Well, that's how it is. He's not gonna treat his family like that.
True. You said he ain't gonna do that to his family.
No.
I know, but
see,
still.
that's why you said like all his stuff was done in hotels. He kept that away from the kids, even when she had got beat up, he didn't want his kids to see it.
Yes.
So he tried to keep that away from them. That was just him and their little secret, you know.
Because when he said you got to go, because one of his statement was, you got to go to a hotel. My sons can't see you. It was like, what?
Right.
I see Medea. Hey, Medea.
Hey, what's going on, Medea? Hey, celebrity. We know we got to do a part 2 to this tonight. I got to stop by the hospital real quick.
Okay, prayers up. I hope mom is doing better. I'll be praying. Y'all, we got to send up our prayers, okay?
Yeah, she actually is doing better.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Have you been telling her about the trial?
Yeah, she requested for all kind of junk food. That's what I'm bringing her now.
Okay. I hope she enjoys it. What's she saying about the trial?
She just want to know what's going on.
Okay.
And I was telling her, keeping her updated.
Okay. All right.
I told her I'm going Monday. And then I'll, see her afterwards. But I'm definitely going Monday.
Max, can you try to get are you going to try to get into the main courtroom?
I will have to get there early to do that. And it's just too much of a hassle for me to, if I get there early enough. Yeah, actually, if I get there early enough, let's say if I wanted to hang outside and not go in the courtroom, I can park on the street.
Yeah,
that's what Ack is doing. Big Ack is doing.
Where is he parking?
He parked right there by the news vans.
Oh, can you do that?
I could if I get there early enough. He gets there. He must get there really early. But I don't trust it. I'd rather pay for parking. I don't trust it.
Yeah, because that's illegal parking though, right?
No, technically, I mean, if you're the media, you could park there. They're not doing nothing to the media. So I just have to watch. I would just have to stand outside all day and watch my car. But then I'm not in the courtroom, I'd rather be in the courtroom. So
Right. But okay, so here's the thing. If you don't get inside, maybe if you leave as soon as like a few minutes before it's over, if you could pop outside to see if you could catch the people coming in and out so you can see the person. Oh, but you'll see her on the monitor because I just wanted you to lay eyes so you could tell me.
I kind of want to do that before it's over. I want to kind of go outside and get some of that footage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Are you going to interview MTA?
Who is that?
You remember MTA? The one that said she was Asian, got into it.
Oh, yeah. I got her Instagram now. You know the lady that be yelling outside the courtroom? I got her Instagram, yeah.
So you going to interview her?
Yeah, I probably will get her on video tomorrow.
Okay, yeah. And
she apparently she got in a fight. Did you see her face?
Yeah, what she was a pretty, I mean, she's still pretty. I'm not saying she's not pretty, you guys, but I was looking at her picture. She was a jazzy lady.
She is. She's not bad looking. Yeah.
Yeah, she is. Like, okay, girl, you clean up real nice when you want to.
Yeah.
So Apex said she's hilarious.
Yeah, I might have to get her on film tomorrow. Like, yo, she said people are interviewing her.
Yeah. After
and
that,
you know the crazy thing is, she get footage as well on the low.
Yeah, I noticed
she be
that.
getting footage.
She doing her thing out there.
She got her phone.
She going viral.
She's famous now. Like all the news,
Hello.
All the news know her and everything.
Yeah, because of that situation with Gene Deal. Oh, Gene might be back this week too.
Yeah, she's pro Diddy.
Oh yeah, she very pro Diddy.
Yeah, he said that he was gonna give. Yeah, he said he was gonna give some YouTubers allow them to ask him a question. Hopefully he'll do that for me.
Yeah, I heard him say that. Yeah, you go get your Gene Deal moment. You sure should.
Yeah, because my boy is cool with him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask my boy, yo. I'm gonna ask Born to hook me up.
Ask Tisa. He loved Tisa.
Yeah, he do like Tisa.
Tisa could get you a whole interview from Gene Deal.
I'm gonna see if I can get a drop from Tisa. Like get an interview to ask her what's going with the trial. Cause she cool like that.
Yeah, that would be a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but Tisa cool like that.
He is. Mostly everybody is cool, to be honest. I mean, it's only a few.
Yeah, everybody is cool. Armand Wiggins is cool.
Yep.
Yeah, he cool. Hey, but I'm gonna have to run. But we gotta do a part 2 later if you want to do it.
Okay. All right.
All right. All right, guys. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for celebrity. Hey, celebrity. Oh, I forgot. If you want to find her on YouTube, it's Celebrity Scandal Lust, Lust. It's the Celebrity Scandal and then Lust. That's how you find her on YouTube. So check her out. But I'm gonna give you the link and stuff when she come back on later. Hopefully, get another panel later. But I'm gonna go in here. But hopefully I'll get the lady that be doing all that yelling. I'm gonna try to get an interview from her tomorrow. All right, y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. Thanks for coming in.